So you're on June 19th, 2005.
It's the strangest race ever!
The moment when Formula One is about to die in the US. Before the start, car after car drives into the pits, and only 6 cars line up on the track grid.
You can't swear on our TV station, no worries.
I can? Are you sure? This is fucking crazy.
And that's just the commentators' words. 100,000 fans were furious. They threw their beer cans on the track and immediately rushed to refund their tickets. So, what the hell happened there? In the 2005 season, the war between Michelin and Bridgestone tire suppliers peaked. The French company had the upper hand. It was evident by the number of its customers. Ferrari was Bridgestone's priority customer. The Japanese were working on new tires specifically for the Italian team's needs. Michael Schumacher personally ran each test. If he didn't like something, millions of dollars were simply wasted. The strategy proved to be profitable, as Ferrari dominated for 5 years in a row. But in 2005, the FIA was looking for a radical solution. You see, Ferrari's cars were getting faster and faster, breaking one record after another. This caused the on-track confrontation, the reason we love Formula One, to get less and less engaging. The FIA got fed up with that scenario and made a bizarre decision. From now on, drivers are supposed to run qualifying and the race on the same tire. I bet they were thinking about safety, LOL. But the truth was quite different. Ferrari's strategy was to make more pit stops and win the race thanks to speed. Therefore, the 2005 season was a failure for Schumacher. To be fair, that only lasted until the race in the United States. Everything changed because of his brother, Ralf Schumacher. On the last lap of the free practice session, Ralf's tire blew off, and he was pushed against the barriers. You may be surprised, but he had crashed in the same place for 2 years in a row. Last year, Ralf was badly injured and broke his back. Fortunately, this time, the injury was not as severe. But still, he left the race and was replaced by Riccardo Zonta. Although he was a rookie, he brought Toyota its first pole position in Formula One. Sadly, he was facing the same problem with his wheel. Yet, he was not the only one. Michelin experts detected tire problems in many other cars. Back then, the company immediately started to solve the problem. At first, they thought the problem was the tire pressure. Eventually, they found out it wasn't. So, Michelin informed its participants that it would provide them with a guarantee for only 10 laps. Let me remind you that the Grand Prix consists of 73 laps. I guess you can see what a disaster it was. So, Michelin and its customers started looking for a solution. Most of all, they insisted on chicane. In fact, the French company saw their mistake, so they agreed to give up points for the race. The main motive was to hold the race for the fans who paid a lot for a ticket. There were more than 100,000 of them. They all came from different cities and countries. This challenge was crucial. Tell us your story in the comments if you were at this race. It was also a big issue for the Formula One. After all, NASCAR was more prevalent in America. So it was a win-win situation for everyone? But not the FIA. They completely rejected the idea. They said it was highly unfair to Bridgestone. Though I don't get why, as they were the only ones who would be included in the classification. The FIA also follows strict safety rules. Therefore, it won't allow for any additional turns that haven't been tested to appear on the track. Moreover, the FIA warned that should the participants change the track layout, they should pull their staff from the event. Surprisingly, the team started considering how to host the event themselves. This scared the FIA, and since then, they could create their own body. That's why Max Mosley came up with a great trick called politics. He said that if the Grand Prix was held without them, it would compromise all FIA-sanctioned events in the United States. The only option left was to rely on the most competent organization in the world. As you can guess, nothing happened on the day of the race. For a whole week, there were discussions about whether the race would take place. So, what was the decision made by Michelin customers? Everyone got to the start as scheduled, so it looked like the problem was solved. All of a sudden, David Coulthard made an announcement on the radio.
Again, if it comes down to my choice, I want to race.
Wait, what did he mean? All of a sudden, after the last turn, all of the Michelin customers drove into the pits.
You know our plan is for the start. Straight in the pits, please, mate.
There was a real panic. Only 6 cars lined up on the grid. Ferrari and 2 outsiders, namely Jordan and Minardi. If you're a Formula One fan, you know what Minardi, the team's owner, shouted at the beginning. So what were his cars doing at the start? You see, this was his only chance for points in the season. Obviously, the fans were furious. People immediately rushed to the ticket office to get their money back. The police could barely contain the angry crowd. In protest, they threw beer cans and water bottles on the track. No one informed them, while they came from Colombia, Mexico, Canada, from all over the Americas. And all they got was a fat finger. Okay, there was another interesting moment. It involved two Ferraris. The Red Baron showed his true character and cut Barrichello off. Immediately, the radio sounded.
Please, we'll bring 2 cars to finish.
Just imagine if they collided. It would have been a damn strange podium. Even though it was already wild, Michael Schumacher won, Barrichello finished second, and for Thiago Monteiro, it was the first and only podium of his life. The podium had a gloomy vibe, and no one was happy to be there except Thiago. He was so happy that he didn't care about anyone else. By the way, Monteiro stayed there for a few hours to celebrate with his team, so what the hell happened there? The problem was that turn 13 at Indianapolis puts extreme stress on the tires. Michelin missed that in their modeling. Keep in mind that Indianapolis wasn't a track designed for testing. Therefore, most of the work was done on simulators. However, races have been held in Indianapolis since 2000, and there have never been any troubles. Why did problems arise in 2005? Due to the harsh winters and hot summers in Indiana, the road surface needed a major upgrade, so they decided to repair it in the off-season. They decided to use a diamond coating. This provides perfect traction and helps to drain water when it rains. But there's a catch. Diamond grinding turns the track into a giant sandpaper with billions of sharp, tiny grains. It's no wonder why the tires wore out so quickly. And what about Bridgestone? Were they just lucky? A month ago, the Indy 500 race was held without any problems. The tires they used were called Firestone. Let me explain. Bridgestone owns Firestone. Thus, the Japanese company had access to all the data on the new road surface. And what did they do? They simply used a harder tire compound. It was a small insider detail that made all the difference. The funny thing is that the FIA immediately accused 7 Michelin teams.
Who the do you think you are?
They were guilty of not showing up for the race with the proper tires. However, the charges quickly faded away when the teams reminded the FIA of Indiana laws that could consider it manslaughter. As a result, everyone lost, no one won, and that was just the beginning. Later on, this situation had a great impact on Formula One. As I said, Michelin realized its mistakes, so they immediately refunded all the viewers for their tickets. They even gave them tickets for the next season. This situation made Michelin decide to leave the Queen of Motorsport. And now the real bomb. This event severely damaged the reputation of Formula One in the United States.
Formula One.
Yeah.
American Grand Prix. What
Yes.
in the name of all that's holy was that about?
It was a very sad day and complete fiasco.
The reputational harm was so bad that 2007 was the last season in the United States. To give you an idea, it took 5 years to get the American hearts back to Formula One, and that was just one race. Just imagine how crazy the 2005 season was. Alonso had only one goal in mind: to beat Schumacher. Click on the video to watch the legendary season.